So is their apology enough? For more on all this, it's over to the buck stops here.
Is the CBI director's clarification good enough to seal the lid on the controversy, or does the fact that he showed insensitivity, gross insensitivity, as pointed out by so many women and men across the country, point to the fact that there is a deeper malaise and this statement, this clarification is not enough? Well, one thing's for sure, the election headlines, and we're in the interiors of Madhya Pradesh at a roadside dhaba right now, but the election headlines were dwarfed more than I expected because of the outrage caused by the CBI director's remarks. And to talk about whether his clarification should be enough or acceptable, we're joined from Bangalore tonight by Mazumdar-Shaw. She's of course one of the country's best known industrialists. She's been very outspoken about this issue all day on Twitter. We're also joined by R.K. Raghavan, former CBI director. Kiran, let me start with you, because you were exceedingly strong in your tweets. You actually believe that Mr. Ranjit Sinha had no right to continue in office because he had shown such gross insensitivity as an officer of the law. He's now expressed regret. He says he was misunderstood. He was not at all endorsing the formulation that if you can't stop rape, lie back and enjoy it. He was using an analogy. It was misplaced, but he's expressed regret for it. Is that good enough? Does it seal the lid? Or does the question mark over his essential sensitivity continue to hang over this issue?
You know, Barkha, these days, people holding public office, and that too high public office, seem to say that, you know, they just need to give an apology and get away with irresponsible statements. And I personally believe that, you know, Mr. Sinha has really outraged everyone by making such an irresponsible and insensitive statement. Now, the point is, when you hold public office, you cannot make such statements, period. And I think this is what is important for all of us to recognize and understand. I mean, there is no question of using such a statement in any context. That is what I believe. You know, you have seen, Barkha, that even in the US primaries, senators who made, you know, irresponsible statements about rape had to actually withdraw from the race.
So what do you expect Mr. Sinha to do now, given what you're saying? And I agree with you that there is such a casual attitude in the way that we talk about rape, even after what happened in Delhi, then what happened in Mumbai. Something just doesn't seem to change at the heart of the matter. What do you expect Ranjit Sinha to do now? Kiran.
You know, even the apology he made, is it convincing? I mean, first and foremost, I think, you know, if he had any sense of moral obligation, he would offer to resign. I think that's the least he can do. Because I don't think someone in his, place of high office should make such a statement in the first place. And if he makes such a statement, then he has to pay a price for it. I'm sorry, these days I think politicians or anyone holding high office, you know, they need to understand their code of conduct. And I think that is extremely important.
Let me take this to R.K. Raghavan. R.K. Raghavan, as a former CBI director, this is the present director, this is one of your colleagues, one of your fraternity. But most important, as Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw points out, he's not just holding high public office, he's an officer of the law. And the fact is that the Justice Verma panel, when it looked into the aftermath of those that horrific Delhi gang rape, it spoke about the deep insensitivity of the police. Now, I want to ask you, what advice would you give to Mr. Sinha today? Mr. Raghavan.
Thank you, Baka, for asking me to take part in this program. I have not come here to defend the indefensible. I quite agree with you and Ms. Mazumdar that what happened today was unfortunate, and Sinha should not have made these remarks, whatever be the context. I quite agree with the kind of enragement which this remark has caused all over the country. And as I know Sinha quite well, and I think since I'm going on TV, on national TV, I think I should also join him in expressing an apology which is very much deserved on this occasion. He should not have made this remark. And now what next? I met him this morning at the conference for which I've come to Delhi, to the CBI conference. I asked him. He was extremely apologetic. He said he did not mean anything. and that he was very, I can only say, he was very remorseful. But I quite understand, in the present context, I think such apology is not enough. But then what next? He is a responsible public official. He said something which he should not have. But then, are you going to execute him for this? I feel that we should definitely take note of it and then possibly ask for a written explanation. But he has already spoken to the press. He prepared a written statement which he also showed me. I don't know what he should do. Yes, I mean, there are some people demand his head. It's for him to take a decision. It's for him to take a decision. I'm extremely distressed that he ever made such a remark, and I would like to apologize for this tribe. And
why are you apologizing, Mr. Raghavan?
No,
are you apologizing on behalf of all officers of the law?
No, I quite appreciate, because this is outrageous. I quite concede. I mean, in the present context, it is outrageous. I don't know how he misplayed his cards. A very casual remark. And this is a lesson for public officials in the future. They should learn from this mistake that you can't be so casual when you go in public and when you face the press or anybody for that matter. But I personally feel he's not a man who has trivialized the issue. I think it's an off-the-cuff remark. He is culpable. I don't deny that. Please let me make it clear to all my sisters and in the country and sisters and daughters. I don't have a sister or a daughter, but I can quite appreciate that this is a howler. But it beats me hollow as to what more one can do. Yes, some organizations have demanded he said and that he should step down. It is his personal decision. I can't advise him on this. I leave it to the nation. I leave it to the government. I leave it to the good sense of Ranjit Sinha. But I can assure you, having I chatted with him, I don't think he meant any offense. It is too casual a remark which a public official should not have made.
Kiran, can I bring you in there? R.K. Raghavan is apologizing. He says that he shares the sense of outrage that all of us feel today. But he's saying it's a howler and now Ranjit Sinha has to decide for himself what he does next. My question to you is this, that we have seen similar insensitive remarks, sometimes even more callous, coming from politicians, from the children of politicians. Absurd remarks that lay the onus of responsibility on women when they are sexually abused, when they are sexually assaulted. Do we hold the CBI director to a different standard, not just because it's public office, but because he actually represents the law that women need to turn to when such things happen?
Well, you know, Barkha, no one can be condoned for making such callous and irresponsible and insensitive remarks, be they politicians or, officials or the CBI director. I think that is certainly something nobody will argue and debate about. I think it has to be one law for all. But I'm just saying that Mr. Sinha is the head of CBI. And if he is holding such a high public office, what respect do women have then for such a person? And I think it's up to him. It's his moral conscience that should, make him decide whether he should at least offer to resign. I think that's what I'm trying to say, because otherwise it's very easy for people to, sound remorseful and give an apology. But this seems to be a trend, that you can say the most outrageous things and then just give a simple apology and expect to be condoned. Is this the way our country is going to be governed?
Can I ask you, Kiran, though, to dig deeper before I take this back to R.K. Raghavan? Today it's Ranjit Sinha, tomorrow it could be somebody else. My question is, what is our society's attitude to rape? What is our society's attitude to women? I know that I have seen Hindi films, for example, popular Hindi films, where well-known actors have actually joked about balatkar. They have used the word loosely. That's, of course, the Hindi word for rape. And we have not seen similar outrage at that point. Of course, the sensibility of the country has also changed ever since we've seen the gang rape in Delhi and the gang rape in Mumbai, and a good thing too. But is there a level of hypocrisy in our society that we do make sexist, gross, anti-women jokes in the privacy of our drawing rooms, often in popular cultures, often in songs, but we hold only public officials to a higher standard, but not the rest of society, not ourselves?
Well, Barkha, let's be realistic, okay? When you make statements on a public forum, it is making a very different statement than making a callous remark with a group of friends over a drink at home, okay? So I think, let's not, confuse the two. I think here we are really talking about a very senior official, someone holding high public office, making such an irresponsible, insensitive and outrageous statement on a public forum. I think that's what is really outrageous.
R.K. Raghavan, you say you're no one to advise Ranjit Sinha, but you have been his senior. You met him this morning. When you say he's remorseful, a number of people want to know why he didn't just express regret or an apology to begin with. We saw a series of different calibrated statements and a regret only coming towards the latter half of the day. Initially, it seemed that he was arguing that he had been misunderstood and he was being attacked unfairly. Did that compound how bad it looked for him?
Yeah, you're right. He should have apologized even in the first instance. I think wisdom has dawned on him now. And I asked him, I checked with him this morning since I happened to run into him in this conference. I can't say anything beyond the fact that he sounded very remorseful. I mean, there are two things. One, if he's not remorseful or if he has not apologized. Second thing is, what kind of penalty are you going to impose on him? I think he's ready to face any penalty that he may impose, public opinion may impose on him. So let us not quibble over it. He is regretful, remorseful, but if that may not be enough in such a sensitive matter. It's for the government, it's for Mr. Sinha himself to do whatever they think is best. But I want to concede.
It should start with him.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't, as I said, I have not come here to defend the indefensible. So I spoke to my wife before I came here. She also said, I'm outraged. What are you going to say? But this is what is. Whatever I have said comes from deep down from my heart. I didn't rehearse. This is what I am saying. I don't think I can defend Sinha, although I know him very well. In fact, to strike a personal note, he had worked under me as a joint director. Thereafter, I had not met him for ages, and this is about the second time I met him after he took over office. So I'm sorry for him that he has landed himself in such a trouble at a time in public.
Why are you sorry for him? Why are you sorry for him?
Sorry for him because it is an inadvertent, loose, casual remark by a public official that something should not have happened. That's about all. I don't know. Okay. I can't read his mind. Going by his track record, I don't think he would ever have dreamt of justifying a statement which is the coarsest that any human being can utter. This is what I feel.
Oh.
I mean, about the penalty, yes. I mean, I've said he is culpable, and I also say that you impose any penalty on him, either the government or the community. I am not saying anything beyond that. But I think it was utterly casual, which it should not be. And as I said, there's a lesson here for the future for any official holding high position. So I don't want to make any value judgment.
I'm giving the very brief last word to you, Kiran. What does it tell us about us as a country? So many people believe things would change after Delhi, then after Mumbai. Are things changing? Is it a healthy sign today that so many people will speak up and it can't just be business as usual? You make a callous remark and you carry on?
You know, Barkha, the mindset is still there. I don't think women get the kind of respect that they should in this country. And I really believe that this is one platform we have to take seriously. We have to build equality for women in this country. And I think as long as we continue to keep, ignoring or just letting these kind of off-the-cuff remarks pass off as if it's just an inadvertent remark, I think nothing is going to change. I really believe this is exactly what the problem is, that people are not sensitive to women's issues, and I think this is a serious issue that we have to deal with.
And I think it goes right to the heart of attitudes, of our attitudinal, intuitive responses, and how sometimes even language has endorsed a certain kind of deep-seated sexism. We leave it there. A serious development there today. The CBI director expressing regret for a very, very ill-chosen, insensitive articulation of rape as an analogy for something he was saying on cricket betting. We leave it there. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, R.K. Raghavan, thanks for joining us. All right, we'll take a quick break, and on the other side, the rest